Like, hey.
Alright, so today we're joining you from my classroom here at Northside, and we're going to be going, this is a video key for the trig and inverse trig ratios homework. Okay, so what exactly is this? What does it stand for? Alright, so what does the S stand for? What does the S stand for? Sine.
Sine.
Alright, so it stands for sine. This one hit.
Sine. Oh, hit it.
Yeah. There you go. Alright, so sine is opposite of our hypotenuse. What about the C?
Cosine.
Cosine, and cosine is what?
Adjacent over hypotenuse.
Alright.
Yay. What'd he say?
Alright, and T stands for what?
Tangent.
And tangent is what?
Opposite of adjacent.
Okay. Okay. Alright, so when do we use sine, cosine, and tangent? When do we use that? Is it when we're searching for sides or angles?
Sides.
Sides. Alright. Okay. So when do we use the inverse of sine, cosine, and tangent? When we're looking for what?
Angles.
Angles. Alright, awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our homework. Number 1. Label each side as hypotenuse, adjacent leg, or opposite leg from the perspective of angle 25. So we're looking at all of these sides from angle 25. I'm going to go ahead and circle that. Alright, so angle 25 is right here, so I'm going to put my finger right here. So in this triangle, it's a right triangle. Where is our hypotenuse always located?
The longest side of the triangle.
Which is always opposite from which angle?
The 90-degree angle.
90-degree angle, awesome. So this one right here is going to be our hypotenuse. Alright, so if we're looking at this triangle from the 25-degree angle, which side is opposite? Which side is opposite? And let me go ahead and I'm going to label these sides so that we know which ones are which. Alright, so which side is opposite from the 25-degree angle? Which side?
Opposite.
Yes, AC, awesome. So this one is opposite. Alright, which side is adjacent or next to the 25-degree angle?
Angle C.
Is it angle C? Which side?
Oh,
CB.
CB? Okay. Alright, any questions about this one? No? Alright, so number 2. Find the values of x and y. Show all work. Round to the thousandths place value. So we're rounding to the thousandths place value. Alright, so we want to find the values of the x and y. Now, let's write down what information they gave us. In this triangle, in this right triangle, what information did they give us?
The hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse, which is how long? 12. Alright, so we're going to write down what they gave us. They gave us the hypo. It helps to write it down because then we know what we know. Like it's like labeling it. We know this is always going to be a hypotenuse. The other sides are either going to be adjacent or opposite. Okay, so I'm just going to write down that 12 is a hypotenuse.
So yes.
Yes. Alright, so we're going to be looking at this triangle from the 40-degree angle. They gave us this angle. And I'm going to go ahead and label it again so that we know what we're referring to. Okay, so again, the hypotenuse is always across from the 90-degree angle. Again, it's 12. We're going to be looking at it from the 40-degree angle, which is angle B. Alright, so in order to find x, how are x and the 40-degree angle related?
They're opposite of each other.
They're opposite of each other. So side AC is the opposite side. They gave us the hypotenuse. So out of sine, cosine, and tangent, which one do we want to use? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Which one? Sine. Alright. So again, just in case you forgot, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so let's plug in what we know. We're going to find the sine of 40 degrees is equal to opposite. We don't know. That's side AC over hypo, which is 12. All right, how are we going to solve this? Multiply both sides by 12. Alright, so 12 times 12. Okay, these two cancel out. And we're left with AC on the right. And 12 times sine of 40. Alright. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug that into our calculator. So we have sine of 40 times 12. And what did we get?
7.71345.
Okay, and we're rounding to the nearest thousandths. So what is going to be rounded to? 13. So 7.713, yes. And that's x. So x is equal to 7.713. Alright. Now we need to find y. Alright. How are angle B, or the 40-degree angle, and y related? Are they?
They're adjacent to
each other. Okay. So side CB is the adjacent side. So we have the hypotenuse, which is 12. We're looking for the adjacent side. So are we going to be using sine, cosine, or tangent? Which one of those uses hypotenuse and adjacent?
Yeah,
Cosine. Okay, so we're going to be finding the cosine of 40 degrees is equal to hypotenuse is our denominator. Adjacent is our numerator. Okay, so how are we going to solve this one?
Same thing we did for the last one.
So multiply both sides by 12. Okay, these two cancel out, and we're left with CB on the right-hand side. On the left, we should be multiplying 12 times the cosine of 40. Okay, so let's plug that into our calculator. So cosine 40 times 12. Remember, we're rounding to the thousandths place value. So what are we going to get when we round it?
9 and 193 thousandths.
Awesome. So 9 and 193 thousandths. Any questions on this?
Not the real explanation, but this week.
Alright, number 3. Find the values of x and y, show all the work, round to the nearest thousandths. Alright, so we're given 30. What is 30 in this triangle, this right triangle?
This is the hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse, alright. So the hypotenuse is 30.
It's the video.
So what do we want to find first, x or y?
The y.
The y? Okay, so I'm going to label these angles just so we have something to refer to when we're talking about them. Alright, so angle A. How are angle A and side y related? Are they adjacent to each other or opposite?
Opposite.
Opposite. So side CB is the opposite side, and we're going to be looking for that one. So we have the hypotenuse. We're looking for the opposite side. So sine, cosine, or tangent? Sine. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Our hypo is 30. Our opposite we're looking for, let me fix that. We're finding the sine of 45. Our opposite we're looking for, which is CB. Our hypo is 30. Okay? How are we going to solve this one?
Same thing we did for the last one.
Same thing. Multiply both sides by 30. Okay, these two cancel out, and we're left with 30 times the sine of 45 equals CB. Okay, so in our calculators, we should be typing in sine 45 times 30, and we get what? Remember, we're rounding to the thousandths.
21.213
Thousandths. Awesome. Okay, so side CB or y is equal to 21 and 213. Okay. Now we have to find x. All right. So we have the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 30. We're looking for x. How are x and angle A related? Are they opposite from each other or adjacent?
Adjacent.
Adjacent. So we're looking for the adjacent side now, which is side AC. Okay. So Sine, cosine, or tangent?
Cosine.
Cosine, because cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay? So we are going to find the cosine of 45 is equal to adjacent AC over hypo, which is 30. And we're going to solve this by what?
Same thing.
Same thing, multiplying both sides by 30.
It's the same strategy.
Right now. Okay, so we have 30 times cosine of 45 is equal to AC, or x. So we should be typing in the cosine of 45.
You see the same answer. Since this is 45, 45.
Oh yeah, awesome. And that's an awesome observation. Since this is a 45 degree special right triangle, that means it has two congruent base angles and two congruent sides. So x is equal to y. Yeah, you're definitely going to see that tomorrow. Okay, so that's 21 and 213 thousandths. This one is also 21 and 213 thousandths.
You see this tomorrow? Yay, more complication. I like to forget it.
Okay, number 4. Alright, number 4. We're given two sides. We're given side AB and we're given side BC. Alright, so AB is 4 yards. BC is 5 yards. So we're missing AC. Alright, what do we want to use to solve for side AC? What do we want to use? Which theory or which theorem?
The Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem, awesome. And the Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. Are we given our hypotenuse?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's our hypotenuse?
5.
5, and remember c is always 5, so 5 squared. We have 4, so 4 squared plus b squared. Okay. 4 squared is what?
16.
16 plus b squared equals 5 squared, which is
25.
25. We're going to subtract 16 from both sides.
9.
Is 9. Remember, when you get to this point, don't forget to square the 9, right? So the square root of 9, b is equal to 3. So that means AC is equal to 3 yards. Alright? Now, they want us to find the measure of angle C. Alright? They want us to find this one. So, when we solve for angle C, we can use sine, cosine, or tangent. It's really up to us. So, what do we want to use? I know someone's a big fan of tangent, right?
Yes, because I'm so tan.
Alright, so tan is what? What over what?
Opposite over adjacent.
Opposite over adjacent. Alright, so we're going to find the tan of angle C. Which side is opposite of angle C?
4.
4, which is AB. So 4. Which side is adjacent?
C.
Which one? AC, which is
3.
3. Alright, so we want to change this fraction to its decimal. What's its decimal version? And it's going to be repeating because we have a denominator of 3.
1.333.
Alright. So now what are we going to do with that? This decimal. Remember, we're trying to find the angle. So are we going to use regular tan or inverse tan?
The inverse tan.
Inverse tan. So we're going to find the inverse tan of 1.33. Okay, so go ahead and plug that in. Inverse of tan. 1.33. And what do we get as the angle? And round it to the nearest whole angle.
53 degrees.
53 degrees. Awesome. So angle C is equal to 53 degrees. Don't forget the degree sign. Alright. Next one. Alright. Ta-da. So we're going to find the measure of angle H. H is right here. Okay? So what do we want to use to find h? What do we want to use to find h?
Something smart.
Okay, well, let's look at what we have. What is FG? Is FG the opposite from h, the hypotenuse, or adjacent?
Adjacent. Oh,
FG?
Oh, the opposite.
Opposite,
Oh,
alright, and
okay,
again,
that's
it's
one of our
opposite,
notes.
right? So,
That question. This one on my notes.
yeah, it looks familiar, right? I think we did it earlier.
Can we look at that?
Yeah. So we have 8.2 is opposite in that side FG. Okay. How are angle H and side HG related? How are they related?
They're adjacent.
They're adjacent. So we have the adjacent side. The adjacent side is GH. It measures 4 degrees and it's adjacent. Okay. So what are we going to use to solve for H? Are we going to use sine, cosine, or tangent? We have the opposite and we have adjacent.
Tangent.
Tangent.
Yeah.
Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So the tan of H is equal to, pull that off. 8.2 over 4. Alright, so find the decimal of this right here and tell me what you get.
2 and 500.
2 and 500? 8.2 divided by 4?
Calculator inside.
2 and 500.
2 and 500 or 2.05, yeah. Okay, so now we're looking for an angle. So are we going to use the tan or tan inverse? Inverse tan. So inverse of tan, 2.05. Okay, and tell me which angle you get. Remember to
64 degrees.
64 degrees. So angle H is equal to 64 degrees.
Hooray! We did it.
Alright,
We did it.
number 6. If you thought the last one was cool, this one should be cool. Oh, yeah, that's alright. Okay.
Pretty normal.
Yeah, pretty normal. Number 6. We need to solve for the measure of angle y. Measure of angle y. So let's see what information. Let's see what information they gave us. How are angle y and angle WY related?
Adjacent.
They're adjacent. So WY is adjacent and it measures 31 degrees. I'm sorry, not 31 degrees, 31 centimeters. What is 36 in this triangle? The hypotenuse. So XY is the hypotenuse and it measures 36 centimeters. So we have the adjacent, we have the hypo, sine, cosine, or tangent.
Yes.
Remember, tangent is opposite over
Cosine.
cosine. Alright, so cosine is, and we're doing the cosine of y. Cosine of y is going to be adjacent over hypo, so 31 over 36. Okay, type that in and tell me which decimal you get. 31 divided by 36. And let's go out to our thousandths for this one.
So I got 0.861.
Yeah, 61 thousandths. Alright, so again, we're looking for the angle y, so we're going to take this and we're going to use what?
Multiply.
Are we going to multiply? We got this decimal. We're looking for the angle, so we're going to do what? Cosine what? Which cosine? Regular cosine or inverse?
The inverse.
Inverse. So inverse cosine 8.61. I'm sorry. 861 thousandths. Remember, round to the nearest whole degree. So inverse of cosine 31 degrees. Y'all are correct. So angle y.
We're right.
Yes. Angle y is equal to 31 degrees. Remember the degree symbol. Okay? Let's see what we got next. Alright, Number 7. Find the measure of angle A. Angle A is right here. Okay. What did they give us? How is CB, side CB, related to angle A? Adjacent or opposite? Opposite. Okay. So CB is equal to 4, and it is opposite of angle A. Okay. How is side CA related to angle A? Adjacent. So CA is equal to 9, and it is adjacent to angle A. Okay, so we have opposite, we have adjacent, sine, cosine, or tangent. Tangent, alright, so tangent, we're going to find the tangent of angle A, so tan A is equal to opposite 4 over adjacent, which is 9. Did we get a decimal for that one?
0 and 400 for 4,000.
Yeah, it's just 4 repeating, right?
Yeah.
So 0.44 forever, right? So we're gonna do, we're looking for the angle. Remember, when you get to this point, we're not done. We still have to do the inverse. So the inverse of tan 1, or inverse of tan, right, is 444 thousandths. And which angle do we get? Remember, nearest pole. 24. So angle A is equal to 24 degrees.
Most of them down, one to go.
One to go. Almost there. Last one. Well, that was cool.
That was weird.
Measure of angle D. Measure of angle D. All right.
If you made it this far, you should consider yourself lucky.
Angle D. Okay. What's DE in this triangle?
The hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse. All right. So DE is the hypotenuse. DE is equal to 13, and it's the hypo. Okay. How is side FD related to angle D?
FD?
Yes.
Is adjacent to?
It's adjacent, and it measures 12. So we have hypo and we have adjacent. What are we going to use? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Cosine. And cosine is adjacent over hypo. So we're going to find the cosine of angle D is equal to 12 over 13. Okay. What decimal do we get when we divide that?
0 and 160.
Is that what we got?
Oh, wait, no.
12 divided by 13. 923. Yeah. Okay. So 0 and 923 thousandths. All right. Are we done?
Maybe.
Is that the angle?
No.
Nope.
No.
We gotta do what now?
Oh yeah, do the inverse.
The inverse. Yes. Cosine inverse. 0 and 923 thousandths. Okay. Remember, 23 degrees. All right. So angle D is 23 degrees. All right. Thanks for watching, and goodbye from Northside.
It's so awkward.